All right, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for subscribing. Okay, so today I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna walk you through how GitHub works. Using GitHub Action for your CI and ArgoCD for the CD. Okay, so I will look. We will look at how your app, and your infrastructure can live in two separate repo. And how ArgoCD keeps your Kubernetes cluster up to date automatically. Okay, so let's just start it with the basics. So here you have my repo. So I have two repos for this demo. Um, this is the repo for the app, and this is what we have here. So, and in this repo, of course, we have the GitHub workflow, and then we have some of those other things too. But in the other repo here, which is here, so we only have the YAML files. Okay, so and this is where our CD will come in. Okay, so just to explain a little bit more for you to understand. So in modern DevOps practice, CI/CD, especially using ArgoCD, you want to have two separate repository. The first repository, like I said, is where you have your app, you have everything, your Docker file, you have your CI/CD workflows, so your README and everything. So this is where you have it, and in your CI/CD, you're gonna call your second repo. Okay, so let's go to the CI/CD here so that I can show you. All right, so this is the CI/CD pipeline that we have. Okay, so pretty much what it is. So any change that is being pushed to the main branch, so to this repository. So and especially the environment is going to be for this image right here. So this is the image that is going to be built. And yeah, so we are setting up the Docker, and then of course logging in into our Docker Hub. So using the credentials. So the credentials is Docker Hub and username, and Docker Hub and token. And just by the way, just want to say this. So each time you are putting your credentials, so make sure that on your action, right? So you have those name match. Okay, so because if the name is not matching, you may not be able to go through. So just a small detail. And of course, here is gonna be extract the short chat, so which is a tag. Okay, and then here is gonna be a listing trivia ignore. So here in this pipeline, I'm actually using after building the image, so the Docker image is gonna be scanned, using a trivia. Okay, and it's gonna scan for critical and high CVEs. Okay, but at the same time, I also have trivia ignore, you know. So because for this specific project, so after scanning the Docker image, of course he failed because of a high CVs that was detected, and after inspection, so I mean in my app I saw that it wasn't really critical, even though it was the scan said it was critical and high. So but it doesn't really affect the app itself. Okay, so and that's one of the best practices with DevOps engineers, especially for DevSecOps. Okay, so that's what I use that trivia ignore to just ignore those CVs. Okay, so now after the scan is finished, so it's gonna push our Docker image to our Docker hub, okay, and this is where it is. So now this is where we start our CD part of it. So this is more our CI part of it, and this will not be a little bit more on the CD part. So it's gonna clone our GitHub repo, okay, and then the repository is this repository. So repository here, okay. So and then it's gonna use a token, a GitHub token part. So that's something also that you have to put in this repository so that it has access to this repository, okay. So and then yeah, after that it's gonna update the image tag in the deployment that YAML file, okay. And after that, so we commit push to the GitHub repo and cd to the GitHub, and yeah, git config username, so GitHub Actions, so email. Yeah, so this is just more, authentication to push back to, to the repository. So this is the setup of our GitHub here, okay. I mean our CI/CD pipeline, okay. So let me show you real quick on my README what it is. Okay, so yeah, so those are the steps, like I said. So check out, the pools, source code, and then Docker build image, with short SHA, the latest tag, okay. And then Trivi is gonna scan the image for critical and high vulnerabilities, okay. So and Docker is gonna push, both tag to Docker Hub, and then GitHub, repo, we pull the deployment.yaml, from the repository, the other repository, okay. And then it's gonna set update, to replace the image tag in the deployment.yaml. So actually for this one, so the changes is gonna be on the deployment.yaml file, okay. And of course, it's gonna git commit, push and change the git repo. Okay, so pretty much this is the diagram here. Okay, so app repo, and then push to main, and then it's gonna be scan, build the tag, push. So if it's pass, if the scan is passed, so it goes now to the next step, update the GitHub repo, okay, and then commit, push, and then ArgoCD is gonna sync our Kubernetes cluster, and run it. All right, so this is actually our CI/CD pipeline. So and then it's passing, okay. So now let me show you hands-on how this thing works, okay. I'm gonna trigger the CI/CD pipeline, and we're gonna verify that together, okay. So let me just do a simple edit. I will just say CI/CD pipeline with ArgoCD, okay, and let's commit the change, okay. Let's just commit the change. All right, so let's go to our GitHub action. So it's updating our CI/CD YAML file, and as you can see, it's going through. Let me just go inside so we can see the whole process. Okay. Sorry, the computer is kind of freezing right now. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. So job done. So completed job. So it is completed. Okay. So now let's go verify what we talked about. Okay, so the update was just done 1 minute ago. So let's go to our repository here. Okay, and let's update. All right, so as you can see in our file here, it was updated. So update new image, image tag to this, and then it was just when now. Okay, so this is what it is. So this is on our deployment that YAML file. So this is the change. So the latest was, the previous one was this, and this is now the latest, the new tag that we have. Okay, so yeah, that's it. No, let me go back to our my Docker app, and then I will show you. So this is my Docker hub. All right. Okay, good. So as you can see, the Docker app was just done just 2 minutes ago, as you can see. Okay. And yes, and that's how you set up this CI/CD pipeline. Okay, so you have your YAMLs file in a different repository, and you have your app and the other things in your main repository. Okay, so yes, if you have any questions, let me know, and until then, I will see you next time. Bye.